Okay, I don't know if you guys can zoom in, but you can get zoom.
Oh, don't show it.
I grew this monster just in time for this segment. I'm such a team player. Yeah, we're talking about
Good for
acne, that four-letter word we all can't stand. But you can be acne-free in 3 days. This is the book that makes it possible, and this is the author who wrote the book.
Yes.
Chris Gibson is here. Hello.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Well, thanks for being here, especially for me and my current little chin situation going on. But this is not just the fear that strikes teenagers. Adults deal with acne as well.
I deal with more adults than teenagers these days, because for me the problem started early. 11 to 25, I had the issue, and I took Tetra. I did everything.
Look at your before and afters.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Plus, I was a little heavy there, wasn't I? It's okay. But no, yeah, it was a big deal for me because that's all I thought about, and I had cystic acne, the kind that causes scars, and my parents were just worried because we'd had that issue in the family, and my aunts and uncles, some of them had it. So there is a genetic connection to be have a predisposition for it, but you know what? My sister never had it, so it was kind of stunk that way. You know, she looked good and I looked terrible.
Did you try everything and anything?
Everything. Accutane,
lots of money.
Tetracycline, thousands of dollars.
And so many of those things have horrible side effects.
They do, and then I was trying the products in the stores, which have just gotten, they proliferated in the last 20 years, and what happened was it forced me out of the box. The dermatologist said, here's another prescription for tetracycline, you're just going to have to live with it. I don't have anything else to do for you. So I was like, oh no, I'm not. And so back then, no internet, so I spent a lot of time in the library reading about this problem and discovered what it really was, and got away from the myths. Like trying to dry out my skin is really bad, and that's what a lot of the products on the market do. It's a $7 billion industry, the cosmetics and skincare industry. So a lot of this stuff's not really good for you. Mineral oil, a lot of people are allergic to that on their skin. It actually creates a airtight seal. And what happens is that bacteria sits in there and sinks into the pores, and your immune system reacts and you get the breakout. Because that's all it is a blocked pore. But if you're eating poorly and you have a lot of toxins in your system, you're more likely to break out.
So does oily skin cause acne?
No.
Hormones?
No.
Hormones does not cause?
Does not. What it does is it increases oil production, which the bacteria lives on. So it plays a role, but it does not actually cause it. It's a bacteria that causes it. So trying to dry out your skin, what does your skin do? Produce more oil. So that's where people go wrong. And I talk a lot about using like olive oil. You hear a lot of celebrities talking about this today. They're getting off of all of these products.
But it's really true. Olive oil is so good.
It is, and the bacteria doesn't like it. So it doesn't multiply on your skin with olive oil the way it does with your human oil.
I just want to talk about the things to do, because if you get this book, you actually give
step
by step. It's so easy how to cure your acne.
Yeah, what I did. And I switched to like tea tree oil. I still get a blocked pore every once in a while. That's what that is. Acne is when it's a chronic condition that continues to happen over and over and can cause scarring and infections in other areas of the body. So it's a really serious problem.
So you mentioned olive oil. Does diet really impact acne?
Huge. And
but
I talk about that in the book.
Doctors say it doesn't.
They're changing their mind now. Really? I actually just had in Philadelphia a celebrity doctor came on and said, you know what, he's actually got something here, because we're finding that the glycemic index in the blood, when you eat a lot of sugar, rosacea, acne, those things react to that. So diet does play a role, and how quickly things move through you plays a role. And I talk a lot about that in there in the book.
And you talked just a little bit about this before, but you're talking about antibiotics curing.
Yeah,
acne.
it actually creates the adult problem, and that's what I did. I took antibiotics so long that the yeast that lives in our system, and you hear about C. diff these days, which is that intestinal infection caused by that. It's a yeast infection that gets inside your intestines, for lack of a better word, and creates all this poison, and that's what was happening. I kept getting acne breakouts. I was 25. I'm like, when does it stop? Because that was another myth. It'll go away when you get older. It didn't. So when I got rid of all the sugar, went on a cleanse. I talk about that in the book, a 3-day cleanse.
Well, it's detoxing is what you're talking about.
It's detoxing is what I did, and you know, people want to ask, does that really work? Well, 3 days later, the breakouts had stopped. I've never had an acne breakout since.
How often do you have to do it? Wow.
What's that?
How often do you do
I do this. I do what I talk about there once a year now.
Once a year?
Yeah, I do it just for health reasons.
I could do that once a year.
Yeah, it's not hard. The hardest thing is eating apples for 3 days. That's like, you don't want to see apple anything after that for about a month, but it really does help. Now there are colon cleanses. There's Activia, the probiotics that you hear about. The celebrities are endorsing now. They really do work to get things moving, and when that happens, a lot of your health issues clear up.
Well, Chris, if you want the book, of course, it's Acne Free in 3 Days by Chris Gibson. If you're one of the 50% of adult women or 25% of adult men who have this acne problem, or 80% of teenagers, you're going to need this book. And we also have a great, Chris brought his Soothing Avocado Facial, and we're going to put that recipe on our website at abc4.com.
All natural.
It's honey and oatmeal and avocado,
Yeah,
and it's great for your face.
This is such an interesting book, Chris.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank you.
All right, stick around, everybody.